Well, staying in Washington, we do want to turn to Capitol Hill, where earlier today, Secretary Kerry defended the Iran nuclear deal before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee.
Lose is by rejecting the deal, because then you have no restraints. You have no sanctions. You have no insight. You have no inspectors. You have no diminution of their centrifuges.
By the way, it was said that he bamboozled Congress with this deal. Fox News Middle East analyst Walid Phares joins me now from D.C. Senator Bob Corker, Tennessee. Mr. Kerry, you have fleeced the American public with this deal. Marco Rubio told him the deal fundamentally flawed, and he was also said that he was bamboozling Congress over this. Walid, your thoughts?
Well, first of all, what is very dangerous for Congress while looking at the deal is not just the fact that the international community won't be able to really check that deal, as the administration is claiming. Really, it's what the deal is going to give Iran's regime now, not in 2 or 3 years. We're talking about $100 to $120 billion. So the bigger question, what is it that the Iran regime is going to be spending on, and how are they going to transform Iran into something very different from the Iran we weren't even able to contain at this point in time? So that's the transformation that concerns Congress.
Walid, I mean, first and foremost, I mean, Kerry, they drag their heels. That's why he's in this predicament. Now Congress has 60 days, and it started right away when they missed that deadline of the 9th of July. Now we're in but what happens if we walk away? What happens to because that's what Mr. Kerry said today. He said, look, we're going to be alone. You know, everybody's in agreement that, we've got to deal with Iran. We're going to look basically bad. Do you think that's the case? Is that going to be our worldview?
I think this is psychological pressure applied on the American public, which is really not very much educated about the issue of Iran. And these hearings are going to educate the Americans, because the alternative was not either the deal or we go to war. I mean, the president made the case and Mr. Kerry is making the case. No. The issue was either we actually make sure to enable the Iranian public to change their governments, or basically we have this bad deal which is going to enable the regime to become much stronger than ever before.
All right. So, Walid, one of the arguments I've heard for Iran, and this actually came from Ambassador John Bolton, I think it was yesterday or maybe it was today, he was talking about this. He said to me, he goes, the youth in Iran, he goes, that's where you're going to see a change in this country. These are kids that have YouTube and they have phones and they see the rest of the world and they want to be a part of that. And they're going to force the Iranian regime into the future. Is that true, do you think, in your opinion? Is that possible?
Well, long term, I even wrote a book about that, but we missed the boat. In 2009, in June of 2009, there were 1.5 to 1.8 million of these youth, 60% under the age of 20, quarter of them were girls, and they were waiting for one thing, for the rallying of the international community led by the United States. What did we do? We abandoned them. If we're talking about 20 years from now, 2 generations from now, maybe. I'm talking about the next 5, 6 years. We have enabled the regime to crush precisely the next revolution, which now is going to come, but will be suppressed by that regime.
Walid Phares, again, you wrote a book. Now I need to read it. Walid Phares, thank you very much, sir. It was great to have you on the show tonight.
Thank you, Cheryl.